Recording in progress.
Hey everybody, you're listening to Ben and Nate's Questions That We Ask Massage Therapists on the Internet. I am Nate Fay, and I am accompanied by the one and only Mr. Ben Stone. Here's the deal, everyone. We ask questions to massage therapists on the Internet, and we love to hear what you guys have to say. Ben and I love chatting about this stuff, giving our own 2 cents, because we love this profession. And Ben and I are going to be serious. We're going to be goofy. We're a couple of old dads and old guys on this show, but man, we love our curiosities of the massage community.
And we get curious on our internets, and that is called Ben and Nate's Questions We Ask Massage Therapists on the Internet Facebook page. So come find us there. And we are also auditioning for interns. If you have any social media experience, we're taking an intern. And if you're looking for payment, that's really not what you're going to get, but you're going to get all kinds of other benefits for working with the Ben and Nate show. So welcome. And Nate, what do we have on tap for today?
Ben, it's a long way to the top if you want a podcast rock and roll. But ladies and gentlemen, we made it to episode 50. This is episode 50. And wow, super cool, man. People think it's easy, Ben, because we make it seem so easy, don't we?
I tell you what, episode 50, I mean, it's not about being good all the time. It's about showing up. And there are days where I come home from work and I'm like, okay, we got to knock out another episode. Yeah. And I may not feel 100% comfortable with doing it, but it's about showing up. That's how, it's like everything in life. You got to show up to the gym. You got to show up, you got to show up for your people. You just got to show up. Sometimes that's what it's about, is just showing up.
Ben, I'm pretty proud of us, man, because we've had a real dedication to showing up, and we've taken so for those of you listening, so Ben and I get together Tuesday evenings, and our time frame's a little fuzzy, but it's usually between 8 and 9 p.m. Eastern Mountain Standard West Coast time, one of those times. And right, it's late. We've seen clients all day. We have our families that we come home to. People are maybe looking forward to seeing us when we get home. But Ben and I made this real dedication to block out some time, because man, we love doing this, and we love our industry, and we love talking about it. And just when you think you're running out of questions about the massage industry, another 50 questions are going to be coming out over the next 6 months or so. So
we are only scratching the surface of questions that we can think of, because we're curious, and I don't think we're ever going to run out of questions, Nate.
I don't think we're going to run out of questions either. And listen, you said something, and we're human too, right? It's been a long day, and sometimes you have that minute of, man, I just want to lay on the couch and eat this bag of smart food. But in the words of Cameron from Ferris Bueller's Day Off, I'll go. He'll keep calling me. I'll go. And then here we are.
That's right. Sometimes Nate has to keep bugging me. Hey, Ben, do you want to do podcasts tonight, or you want to do podcasts tomorrow morning? Sometimes I have to bug him. Hey, Nate, let's do podcast. Let's record. Let's do it.
Let's do it.
We hold each other accountable. But you said a little bit earlier, that we have long days and we come home to our families and that kind of thing. And I wanted to share a little story. Not very many people know, but my wife and I had a baby a couple years ago. And it's not something I talk about, but when my wife was giving birth, the doctor comes in and he introduces himself, and he says, "I'll be the one to deliver your baby today." And I looked at him and I said, "No, thanks. We really want our baby to keep its liver." Was that a joke grenade?
That was. And 50 episodes later, Ben, you start with these stories, and I'm like, shit, wait a minute. Ben's never talked about having a kid.
I don't have a baby. That was just the intro to joke telling. It's all about timing and misdirection.
I
But
love
but talking about timing and misdirection, let's Nate, tell me a little bit more about what we're gonna talk about in this episode today. We're celebrating our 50th episode. So tell me your idea for the topic for today. Because we don't really have a question. We're just celebrating, right?
Yeah, we're just going to celebrate tonight. And so I think it'd be kind of fun tonight, Ben, if we just talk about if we reflect back on episode one, talk about maybe pick a few episodes that we've done that stood out to us. And then I think it would be fun to maybe just take a couple minutes because it's not just about hitting the record button. There's a couple things that you and I have to do to make these episodes actually get published. So I think it would be kind of fun to talk about our individual quick little thought about our individual roles on what happens after you and I say goodnight after at the end of these episodes.
Yeah, the
So that'd be
behind
kind
the
of cool.
scenes.
Yeah. And so by the way, and maybe I'm just going to go into that aspect of it real quick. So that was a good segue. I segued myself
I love it.
to so Ben, when I post these on Spotify, and I have to just fill out. It's just a like a quick 7 to 8 question, yes or no kind of thing that I have to do. And I'll let you talk about what you do, but the summary of it is Ben sends me the episodes. I'll log into our Spotify account, and then I upload the episode. And then I have to go through this checklist for Spotify. Like it asks me things like, is this a family friendly podcast? Or is this for mature audiences? And we're a family friendly podcast.
No swearing.
Once in a while, we might drop a little nugget. And it maybe I could put up a poll question or something like that. But one of the questions it asked me is what episode number this is. But it also has me designate what season we're in. So up until now, we have just been designating this as season one. And so Ben and I decided this is going to be the end of season one, and we're going to start season two. I don't really know what that means, Ben, but it just kind of sounds cool.
It does sound cool. Season two. 'Cause think
Right.
about all the TV shows that have gone, 10, 12, 15 seasons. We're getting into, a lot of shows get canceled
Right.
after two or three seasons.
I mean,
And
look what
for us to
happened.
make it to season two, I love it.
Right. Look what happened to Alf, alien life form.
Yes,
That fell
Alf.
apart at the seams.
That was a great show.
So anyway, I don't know. I just thought that was it just kind of feels like an accomplishment.
It is an accomplishment. We talked about this in one of the episodes before is how many times do we take time to celebrate even little milestones in our careers, in our massage careers? And so Nate decided that episode 50 would be a great opportunity to just say, hey, look at where we are at and look at where we're at now. Look where we came from. And I'll tell you, I had some time to listen to a few of our podcasts while I was driving back and forth to see your class
Yeah.
recently. And the one that I listened to was our very first episode. And uh, I have to say,
I'm
I,
scared.
I feel like we are doing a lot better with how we talk to one another, all the things that we do. But I remember the first words. I think I brought us in and I said, "Welcome to you are listening to welcome Nate and Ben." It was just it was garbage.
Yeah.
But if you listen to episode 1 and you're still listening to us, I appreciate you for sticking in there with us.
And if you just started listening to the last 3 episodes, you don't even have to go back to episode one.
No.
But so let's talk about that, Ben, for a minute. When you and I first did this, so I was down in Jacksonville, Florida. You came out and assisted with me, and we basically both had this vision of, hey, I noticed that you asked some questions here and there, and I asked some questions, and why don't we just do this. I'd been wanting to do a podcast for a while, and I was just trying to find somebody to do that with me. And the stars sort of aligned, and we just, like you said, we just opened up our computers one night and winged it. And so fast forward, at some point we both got microphones. And after I probably got a microphone about a year and a half ago, and it was only 3 or 4 episodes ago that we discovered it was never actually properly working.
It wasn't turned on. Yeah. So we had to turn on Nate's microphone.
So, right, our sound's gotten better. And of course, we did an episode about AI, and now we've used AI to help us with aspects of audio and video and writing some script stuff for us, which has been super helpful, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so that's some behind the scenes stuff for you.
Yeah. We get the audio stuff taken care of. We record audio, but we also record the video aspect of it too. And right now we're sharing that on YouTube on right now it's on my personal YouTube channel called Benji and the Massage. So if you want to go there and check it out, you can see our faces instead of just listening to us. But I'm not really sure how well YouTube does with podcasts right now. I think it's in its infancy still. But we're
Yeah.
using it because it's another platform that we can get our message out to everybody.
So Ben, we say goodnight on a Tuesday night at the end of the podcast, and usually within a few days you send me the files, and I'm always impressed because you've added music, you've added some like layover stuff. So tell me a little bit about what you're doing on your end.
Oh, when you learn something and you do it a lot, it kind of becomes mundane. And so to talk about it, I'm thinking, well, it's not really that interesting. But to someone that has never done it before, there's a pretty steep learning curve to editing video. I bought a video editor, oh man, probably in 2020. I started getting interested in recording video, and that's actually what got me going into taking still pictures. Was I started with video. Usually most people go the other way around. They start with stills and go into video. But anyway, what happens is I open up this program. It's called Filmora. Most people use the Adobe version, which is Adobe. I forget what it's called now, but um, I don't mess around with that. I use a program called Filmora, and I put together our audio and video, and then what one of the most challenging parts, but the most fun parts, is to get the intro and outro music, like because I want the music to kind of portray our personality. And what I'd love, and I've talked to Nate about this at the beginning, and I think we may have kind of not revisited it in a while, but I talked to Nate and I said, hey, man, I want you to play a few licks on your bass so that we can record it and we can use it for like an intro or an outro. So I'm going to throw that out there again to you. Like,
Okay.
hey, if you got anything we can use, that would be super cool.
All right. We can do that. We can definitely do that.
Cool.
And so yeah, man, I think it's like pretty cool. I think it's pretty cool, like all that extra stuff, like throwing on that music, the overlay, the video editing that you do, and then to ultimately get it onto Spotify, and then Spotify blasts it out to Apple Podcasts, and so there's those formats that can be sent out there, and you and I really have probably gone from sounding like we're on AM radio to now maybe we're getting close to some of these things. So it's an interesting thing because podcasting, I saw a funny reel on Instagram the other day, and it's like, it kind of was like gender bias. So it's like things that middle-aged people do, or you're a middle-aged woman if, or you're a middle-aged man if, and so by the way, I just preempt this with, this isn't Nate saying that's this stuff, but it's like, you're a middle-aged woman if you wear a weighted vest and you make sourdough bread and you podcast, right?
Yeah.
So and here we are, but this whole idea of, and this is just going to be like, I'm going to just kind of brag about us for a minute here, Ben, that
Please do.
Yeah, I'm gonna. And so somebody said to me a while ago, like, well, how do you become a seminar teacher? And people don't see the work behind the scenes. People aren't with you when you're getting home from your office at 8 o'clock at night and then locking yourself up in the room till 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, writing and studying and practicing and doing all these things. And then, people don't think about projectors and wires and audios and headset microphones and what does this plug need to be plugged into and what does this output need to be plugged into. When you go to a concert, whether it's a small band at a club or a huge band with full audio, visual, and sound and everything, you just see this beautiful stage with the lights and everything's working in sync. But nobody saw that, people were there at 6 a.m. that morning and setting that whole thing up. And it's kind of a similar thing for us. So the end result is it just looks easy. It looks like anyone can do it. So people would say to me, well, how did you become a seminar teacher? And I say, listen, man, you need to learn how to pack boxes and load them into your car and then unpack boxes and know where every wire needs to go. And then you need to entertain 30 adults for 16 hours, right? And hopefully sound kind of smart doing it. And doing the podcast thing, man, there's a lot of work that goes into this. So I'm pretty proud of the fact that I mean, 50 episodes took us 2.5 years,
Yeah.
a long time.
Yeah.
And, Ben and I are, just to kind of let some cats out of the bag too, Ben and I are talking about how we can reformat the stuff and how we could put out even more episodes and perhaps like a shorter amount of time. So I think those are some cool things to look forward to.
Yeah. One of the things that we've been doing, I'm going to brag about us some more,
Do it.
is we have been challenging ourselves to get better because I think that's the personality both you and I have is, we want anything that we do, we want to do well and we want to get better, but we both know that we can't get better unless we fail. So like we recognize that your audio wasn't turned on for a while,
Yeah,
you know, but we
that's
figured it
okay.
out. And so we keep challenging one another. Nate's been telling me about some of the stuff that he's been doing to help his delivery and how he's talking about. And I think it's fantastic because it's coming through in this workshop that I just attended with Nate. He sounded fantastic. And so I think just all of the things that we challenge each other about just are helping not only with the podcast, but with your workshops and with everything that we do. I've been teaching a class recently and I feel like I feel more comfortable because I'm teaching my class over Zoom. So we've been using Zoom for, 2.5 years now. So I feel more comfortable talking to nobody almost when I'm teaching a
Yeah.
class. So there's a lot of things that this format really helps prepare us for.
Yeah, absolutely, man. So I think what I want to do real quick, I want to take a minute and I'm just going to fire out some stats from our last 2.5 years.
Let's hear some stats from the last
Listen.
two and a little stat music, please, Maestro. There we
All right,
go.
here we go. All right, you ready, Ben? And some of this stuff you may not even know yourself.
Okay.
Total consumption time of Ben and Nate's questions that we ask massage therapists on the internet, 1,301 hours total all time.
Wow. That's
All
about
right.
1,300 more hours than I thought we would
That's
have.
me too. And our audience, ready? I don't know how they figure this out, but somehow it knows our audience.
Okay.
So 64% of our listeners are male, 24% of our listeners are female, and then there's a non-specified rate. I don't know how it knows this, but our average age of our listener is between the ages of 50 to 59. Have no idea how it knows that. And then over the age of 60, and then 35 to 44. But then, interestingly enough, 23 to 27. Weird. Don't know how it knows that. Okay.
I
Now,
have a little, I think maybe you and I may skew those numbers a little bit because I listen to us on Spotify. So that might skew things a little bit.
all right, you ready? You ready for our most listened to episode?
Ooh, let's hear our most listened to episode.
Are there pros and cons to being a male in the massage industry? Was number one. I'll do our top three.
Top three.
Well, I should have done these in reverse order. Like oh shoot, maybe screwed up. But that's okay. You know what? Dave Letterman goes to 10 to 1. We're gonna go 1 to 3.
That's right.
Okay, most listened to episode, being a male in the industry.
Number one.
Number two. Here we go. Drum roll. Tackling burnout and finding fulfillment in massage was number two. And number three, it's tied. It's tied. So I'm going to do 3 and 4 because it's tied.
Yeah.
Our membership episode, memberships and gift cards.
Yes.
Tied with that, Ben Stone, was essentials for the new massage therapist.
That's a good one.
Okay. That episode, I just want to give a recap on that. We discussed everything from learning time management, developing a business plan, learning how to interact with the public. Pretty cool. And bear with me 1 second here. I've just got my cheat sheet. So that was tied. We'll go 5.
Yeah, top 5. Why not?
All right. An episode titled "It Must Be the Money." I titled that "It Must Be the Money."
All
Hey,
right.
what do you think about when you choose your rates? We just talked about that in our why episode, which people are going to hear. And then finally, this was a new, most recent recorded episode, making our top 5. Is your national certification necessary or just a piece of paper?
Yeah, that's a good one. I feel like the longer we keep up the podcast episodes, the more involved and in depth our questions are going to get. That's just my hunch.
Do you want to hear our lowest ranking episode for the hell of it?
I mean, why not? We got to see
What?
what's good, what's bad, or I don't know bad, but where are we succeeding and where are we not as optimal?
All right, our least popular. Let me go to that there. Hold on 1 second. It's going to just scroll up. Okay. Our
I'm going to
least.
guess that it's episode number 1.
No, it wasn't.
Ooh, okay.
No. This is surprising, Ben. I'm gonna say I'm surprised. A coach, a mentor, and a consultant walk into a bar. This was our episode about what do you look for? What qualities do you look for in a mentor? I'm shocked. I am shocked. And that episode, we talked about what we felt the differences were and why you might hire a coach or a mentor, or and what to do when looking for one. I'm
Yeah. That's the one where I talked about the TED Talk where the guy that worked for he's one of the top surgeons in the world talked about why you would need a coach as a surgeon,
yeah.
as an accountant, as an architect. Like everyone probably could benefit from a coach. That was a great episode.
You know what, Ben? I'm just going to throw this out that maybe somewhere in season 2 we actually revisit that one and talk about that one again.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I
You
don't
know,
think
and
that should be our least important one.
yeah. Well, let me ask you this. Do you have any episodes that stand out to you as some of your favorites? Let's say maybe your top favorite or one or two top favorites.
Oh, so many to choose from. Um, Gosh, Ben, I mean, I kind of liked our national certification one only because that showed, I actually liked that one showed a lot of flaws on our end in terms of some of our homework and research we did. And I just thought that was fun to kind of, not really have all the facts, but still give people something to think about. That was kind of fun.
Shows that we're real.
Um, Yeah, that was like a real show. We talked a while back about, a particular class that changed your massage path.
Yeah.
And I think that's an important one. It's not out yet, Ben, but I think I'm gonna really love this why episode that you guys are gonna also hear. So we're kind of like in the past future right now, and yeah, I don't know. I think and I think you and I are gonna probably have a decent amount of questions in season two, and kind of go more into this whole male in the massage industry thing. So I don't know. Those were some of my few off the top of my bean. How about you?
Yeah, I was going through some of the episodes and trying to look at, ones that stood out for me. And one of them, not necessarily because it was a great episode, but I liked the episode where we talked about massage competitions for the first time. And I like that one because I put a lot of research and effort into that. I reached out to people who participated, people who were judges, people who were uh, running the events. I mean, I talked to people well, not face to face, but on the phone. Like I reached out, I did a lot of research for that one. So I felt like an investigative reporter. I felt like I was really getting into uh, some of the things that you might see a journalist get into, even though I don't really have experience being a journalist. That one was good. I like the one about memberships, and now that one was almost a year ago. But where we talked about
Hard to believe.
memberships and gift cards, that was a really good one, and I want to go revisit that one because you said some good things that inspired me about this time last year when we're ramping up to sell gift cards as massage therapists, or potentially some people are. I don't really sell gift cards anymore, but there were some good ideas in there, and I want to go back and revisit that. But
Absolutely.
so those were two that kind of stood out to me. And then also I looked back and we talked to people. We had guests on the show early in season one. We talked to Trisha Gilbert, the massage mob boss. Do you remember her?
I
I
sure
mean, of
do.
course you know her, but I just remember the episode. We talked to Michelle Quigley. We had a 20th episode special where we got a whole bunch of people together to talk all about what what you'd like about being a massage therapist. I think was the theme for that one. We talked to Jeremy out in California. He was a
Yeah.
guest. We talked to our good friend Eric Stevenson, who, by the way, just published a book. It's called The Six Superpowers Within, and you can look that book up on ericstevensonspeaks.com. I don't know. I just like that guy a lot, so a little plug for him. And then we also talked to the massage mentor, Diane. So we
One
had
and
a
only.
we had a lot of cool guests on our show, and I think that's something we can revisit in season two is having a few more guests. But here's a question I want to throw back at you is maybe not just the episodes that you liked or impressed you, but what about the process? What have you learned from episode one that stood out to you? What the process of creating this podcast?
Man, it seems, I don't know, it seems like a long time ago. And I think the immediate thought to that is I think about to when I taught my very first seminar. And I probably in that moment thought, oh man, I'm like killing it. And I'm sure if I watched the tape from that seminar, I would probably have my head in my hands going, what the heck was I doing? You know what I mean? What was I saying? And I don't know, man. I just think this I, I've always been I feel like my whole life I've always been like in this like slow burn. Like I've never accomplished anything too quickly. And I've always felt it's just taken me a long time to get to certain places. So I don't know, Ben, I just love the long process of everything that we talked about, right? Maybe having a little bit of scripting in what we do, but also still having mostly still improvising. The process of the microphone, the process of the headphones, the process of adding in, music and different clips. And I don't know. It's just been like, it's almost like hard to believe that we went from just speaking into our laptop microphones to having like a lot more behind this. I think that whole thing's been fun, but I love the fact that it took us a long time to get there.
Yeah, one of my favorite quotes is we do the best with what we know, and when we know better, we do better.
Yeah. Yeah. And at the end of the day, after doing this for 2.5 years and dedicating this time, man, if we had if we had 5 people or less that took a thing or two from what we said, I think we've totally won and knocked it out of the park.
And to take a question off a past episode is I asked myself why? Why do I enjoy doing the podcast with Nate? And there's some of the same ones is like massage is a lonely profession. A lot of times, you could work in an office with 6 or 7 other people, but how often do you really interact with them? So the opportunity to get together with Nate and talk about stuff that's relevant to our profession, I enjoy that because it gives me different perspectives. It keeps me connected. We get to talk to everybody that's listening out there and stay connected with everybody that way. So uh, that still feels like more of a surface level why, maybe only like
Yeah.
3 or 4 levels deep, and I want to get to more of a core. But that takes time to reveal that core, and I just love this process. It's great.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. What can you say about that? What can we say about that, man? It's good stuff.
Yeah, I tell you, when it's Tuesday, because we record on Tuesdays, if I don't, I have to prepare a little bit. I don't know that I've ever told you this, Nate, but if I don't have time to prepare, like I don't feel locked in. So I need at least 15 to 20 minutes. Sometimes I get it during my day in between clients and stuff like that, where I can sit down and just kind of collect some thoughts about what we're going to do you know, for that current
Yeah.
episode. And I don't know if you do that or not, but that's one of the things, and I enjoy doing that.
Yeah.
I enjoy, if we're gonna sit down together, I wanna at least feel a little bit prepared.
No, I do the same thing. I do the same thing, and it gives me something to think about in between clients too. And much like you said, it's a lonely profession sometimes. And my last client of the day today asked me, she actually asked me a question.
Nice.
She actually said to me, she goes, "Why do you like doing seminars so much?" The common question that my clients ask me, that was actually a rare question. Nobody's ever asked me that. She actually just came and she said, "Why do you like doing that? What's in it for you?" And it was kind of cool that she doesn't know that I do this podcast and we talked about this whole why thing. So it gave me a minute to talk about, right, and talk about all those things. And I was very honest with her. I was honest with her that, man, I just love, sharing what I know and maybe changing someone's mind. And I was honest. I said, there's a financial reward for me, at the end of the weekend, which feels good. But what I said to her was the most fulfilling thing to me. And I talked about that. I said, the loneliness of the massage room. Sure. And I get to interact with cool people all day. I get to hear cool stories. I get to talk to people from all walks of life. I get to hear some interesting stuff,
Yeah.
but I don't get to be a nerd. And those weekends that we go out, I get to be a nerd for a couple days. So it's fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
There you go.
Um, I think season two, we're going to be guided a lot by this why question because it's popping up, it's popping up for me a lot. I talk to some of my clients about it, I say, why I tell them I get a chance to explain my why to them. And every time I give my why, it starts to evolve and change a little bit. And so
Yeah,
it's just fun to explore all these different curiosities and questions that we bring up.
absolutely, man. So, hey, 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 here's to another 50.
That's right. Stay tuned for season 2. We want you to join us. We want you to share your ideas for questions. We want you to check out our Facebook page called Ben and Nate's Questions We Ask Massage Therapists on the Internet. Continue to listen to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or if you want to use YouTube Podcasts, you do that. But the show is so much better with you. Nate and I can do this show on our own. We've found that out, but it's way better with you guys involved. Way better.
I dig it, man. Ben, we'll see you for season 2.
Thanks for listening, everyone.